sea monsters, dragons, magicians and spies, riddles and mystery, intrigue and surprise, heroes and villains, giants and midgets and palaces, dungeons, madmen and witches, kings, queens and emperors, wise men and fools, miracles, plagues, hidden treasure and jewels, angels and demons, rebellion and war, deception, disaster, mayhem and gore, ooh, yuck, time, travel, romance, adventure, betrayal, freedom from slavery, escaping from jail, soldiers and warriors and healers and saints, and poems of thanksgiving, praise and complaints, partying prophets and killers who preach, fish who eat people, donkeys that teach, shipwrecks and journeys and blessings to give, and the world's greatest superhero ever to live. What story is that? Yes, it's the story of Jesus. It's the story of the Bible, and it's the most amazing adventure story, love story that's ever been told. And so today, as we go through the day, I would like to give you new ideas for telling God's story, for telling the story of Scripture. And throughout the day, we'll look at the notes at some times, and we'll also do different activities. And I thought we would start with a little story that you can help me tell. So let's see. I believe that we'll take, okay. All right, so everyone from here to the wall, you will be the farmer. No, you will be the orchard owner. Who are you? Orchard owner. Everyone here, you will be the farmers. Who are you? Okay, good. From here, you will be the servants. Who are you? And everyone else over here, you will be the grapes. Yes. So this is a story that Jesus told. And so I'm going to give you the part of what you say. So if you're the orchard owner, whenever I say the word orchard owner, you'll say, we'll grow some green grapes. That's your part. We'll grow some green grapes. So you'll say it in a silly voice like this. We'll grow some green grapes. Like that. So let's try it, all of you orchard owners. So I say the word orchard owner. We'll grow some green. Very good. All right. You are who are you again? Farmers. So the farmers, whenever I get to your part, you'll say, you're the evil farmers actually. So you'll say, we'll have the vineyard to ourselves. And then you'll do an evil laugh. Unless you're a woman, then you might do the laugh. That's your part. So you'll say, we'll have the vineyard to ourselves. Ready? Evil, or the farmers. We'll have the vineyard to ourselves. Very good. All of you are the servants. Now, the servants weren't very bright. They weren't very smart. And so the servants, you'll say, you're going to bring some water. You'll say, would you like some water? That's your part. So servants, ready? Would you like some water? Very good. And finally, the grapes. Whenever I say the word vineyard, where the grapes grow, you'll do your part. And the vineyard part, the grapes part, you'll look up as if there's a giant foot. Because back in Jesus' day, when they would make grape juice or wine, they would put the grapes down and squish it with their bare feet. So you're going to look up at a giant foot coming down at you, and you'll say, oh no, don't step on me. Ah! That's your part. So let's try it, all of you. When I say vineyard, you do your part. Ready? Vineyard. Oh no, don't step on me. Ah! Very good. Now by now, I think you've probably forgotten your part, because that's just the way it goes. And so we'll review, and then we'll tell the story that Jesus told. So you are the orchard owners. We'll grow some green grapes. You are the evil farmers. We'll have the vineyard to ourselves. You are the servants. would you like some water? And finally, the vineyard. Oh, no, don't step on me. Ah! Jesus told this story, and he said, once upon a time, there was an orchard owner who planted a vineyard. At harvest time, he rented it out to some farmers. They sound like the happy evil farmers. They're so happy. And he went away on a journey. At last, he sent back one of his servants back to the farmers to collect some of the fruit from the vineyard. Oh, no, don't step on me. Ah! I like when they get squished. But they took him and they beat him and they threw him out of the vineyard. And so the orchard owner sent another servant. And another servant. And still another servant. But each of them was beaten or killed by those wicked farmers. And so at last, the orchard owner said, I will send my own son. Surely they will not harm him. But when the son arrived, they said, if we kill him, we'll be able to keep it all for ourselves forever. And they took him and beat him and killed him and threw him out of the vineyard. And Jesus said, in the same way will happen to you. And he was talking to the religious leaders about keeping God's kingdom to themselves and not sharing it with anyone else. So our job as teachers of God's word is to take and share the fruit that he has given to us, the fruit of the vineyard. So let's all do the vineyard part together. Everyone will do the grapes. And so it is our job to share the fruit of God's vineyard. Oh, no, don't step on me. Ah! Very good. Give yourselves a hand. That was wonderful. So we are here to learn about God's story. But what is a story? I mean, most of us think that we know what a story is. We think, well, a story is a bunch of things that happen. But is that really a story? Some people say a story is something that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So a story, I believe, is not just a list of things that happen. But in a story, something goes wrong. And usually, the character in the story tries to change things so that things are right at the end. When I was a child, whenever we would come back from vacations to school, our just ask them if they're able to understand, or you want them to go a little slower. I don't understand. What?
Just ask them if they are able to understand.
Oh, understand. Slow. Okay, I'll listen. So, would you like me to speak slower? I will try to. I'm sorry. When I was a child at school, we came back from vacation and our teachers said, write what you did over the break, over vacation. Did you ever have to do that when you were young? So we would write out I went to play games. I came to my grandmother's house. I watched a movie. It was a list of things that happened, but it wasn't really a very good story. So I went to one school one time. I said to the children, "Don't tell me what you did over the break, but could anyone tell me about something that went wrong?" So a boy raised his hand, 10-year-old boy. I said, "What happened?" "Well, my brother came over to our house and we were having a contest to see who could jump the farthest off from the bunk bed." So bunk bed, you have one lower level and then a high one. I said, "Okay, what happened?" He said, "Well, he jumped first, he got pretty far." I said, "I can get farther than that." I said, "Did anything go wrong?" He said, "I jumped off the top bunk and the ceiling fan was on." Got my head stuck in the ceiling fan, threw me against the wall. But I got farther. So, if I would have said to him, "What did you do?" he would have said, "I played with my cousin." But because I said, "Tell me what went wrong," he told me a story. So one of the first things to look for in a story that we tell is not what happens, but what goes wrong. So in a Bible story, we don't look at just simply this happened, then this happened, then this happened. We look at the story through the eyes of who struggles, what do they discover, and how do they change. So let's think about this for a minute with regard to the story of Ruth in the Bible. So in the book of Ruth, you all know the book of Ruth in the Bible. So the story in Ruth, many people would say the story is about Ruth. But there's another character in the story who I believe is even more central to the story in the book of Ruth. It's a character with a struggle. Who do you think it is? Yes. So at the beginning of the story, we meet Naomi. She is in Bethlehem with her children, her sons and her father, or her husband, not her father. And so there's a famine in the land. The only thing they can do is to leave and find food somewhere else. So that's the beginning of the story. I call it the orientation. We find out who the story is about, where they are, what is happening, so that we can picture and see the story. Then something usually goes wrong. A crisis event occurs. And in the story of Naomi, the crisis event happens to turn her world upside down. Her husband dies and her two sons die. Now, very often in a story, after the crisis, something terrible happens, the characters will try to take steps to solve things. And so in the story of Ruth and Naomi, Naomi says, "What else is there for me here? I'll go back home to Bethlehem, start over." Well, of course, you know the story. Ruth and the other girl, Orpah, they come to Naomi, "We'll come with you." No, stay here. But then Ruth says those famous words, "Your God will be my God, your people my people. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay." And so she goes along with Naomi. Now, to understand the story, you must remember that Naomi means beautiful or pleasant, beautiful. And so they go to Bethlehem. The women run over. They say, "Naomi, is it really you?" She says, "No. Don't call me Naomi anymore. Don't call me beautiful. Call me what? Mara, which means bitter." Yes. And so she says, "Don't call me beautiful. Call me bitter." For I went away full, and I came back empty. And it is God who brought this bitterness into my life. So she has a very big struggle. Not just that she doesn't have a husband, not just that she doesn't have food, but that she feels that God is against her. Well, they arrive on just the right day, at just the right season, and Ruth goes to just the right field to get some grain. While she's there, a man named Boaz sees her. He says, "Who's that girl over there?" They say, "Oh, that's Ruth." Huh. Interesting. Well, he walks over to Ruth. "Ruth, what are you doing for lunch today?" "Nothing." Join me." So they eat. The Bible says she had all she wanted, and then there were leftovers. So she would take the leftovers back with her home. First time in the Bible, there are leftovers. And so they go back home. Now when she gets home, he gives her all this extra grain. She walks home, she's got her skirts filled with grain. Naomi says, "Girl, where'd you get all that grain?" "A man named Boaz gave it to me." Huh. Interesting. Then I don't know that she said this, but I think she might have said, "Listen, when a man gives a woman that much grain, he's got more on his mind than the harvest season." And so then she gives her a lesson in how to get a man's attention, and they get together, and of course they have a child. Now, the thing with the story is, at the very end of the book, the women, I'm sure, congratulated Ruth on the baby. But we don't hear about it in the Bible. Instead, in the Bible, it says that they went up and they congratulated who? Naomi. They say, "Naomi, God has given you a new family, a new child to help raise." This is the story of a woman who goes from beautiful to bitter to a new kind of beauty. Because at the end, they don't call her Mara. They call her Naomi once again. Now, many people, when they tell the story of Ruth, tell the story and then say, "You should be like Ruth." But that doesn't work as well, because when we listen to a story, when we read a story, when we watch a story, we always identify with the character who has the struggle, not the one who has the answers. And so in the story of Ruth, Naomi struggles at the beginning, and she finds resolution at the end. Ruth is always faithful through the whole story. Your God will be my God. I will go to the fields. And we never find out about her struggle. Now, certainly she had struggles. Her husband died. She went to a new land. But the Bible doesn't tell us about her struggles as much, because the story is not so much about her as Naomi. So when you look at a Bible story, you ask not simply what happens, but who struggles, what do they discover, how do they change. So when I tell the story of Naomi and Ruth, sometimes I will say, how many of you have ever felt empty? You went away into a job full, but came back empty. You went into a relationship full of hopes and dreams, but came back empty. You went somewhere in your life, you moved full of desire that things will be great, but came back empty. Just like Naomi. And I say sometimes, how many of you have felt angry or bitter with God? But But through the story, we see that God works in the background to bring beauty out of bitterness, to bring fullness out of emptiness. And this is how we climb into the story and we see really what it's most about. Now, throughout today, I would like to tell you more and more about stories and storytelling, but throughout the day also, I would like to do some activities and creative ways of doing stories. So, I would like to do one now. Let's see here. All right. We are going to do a story up front, but I will need some people to help me for this story. So I will need some volunteers to help with the story. I will need a man to be a farmer. Oh, you don't have to look at your pages. This isn't in the pages, so. So, a farmer. Hey, yes, farmer? Yeah, come on up. Yes. Then I will need seeds. So we need 4 people. Can you help choose 4? 4 people. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah. And then 2. Yeah. Perfect. Good. So 4 seeds. Now we need 2 rocks. 2 strong rocks. Rock. That's good. And rock. Yes, so. Now the rock's over there. Then 2 birds. We need 2 birds. 2 women or men as birds. Doesn't matter. So 2 birds. Some of you are looking down. You think if you look down, we won't find you. I will find you. So, yeah. And 1 more, yeah. So, and then 2 thorns. Vincent, you'll be a thorn. And 1 more, and you can be a thorn. You 2 thorns right over there. And finally, 1 last person, the sunshine. You are smiling, you get to be the sunshine. So come on over. Okay. Now, we're going to act out a story. So, let's see how we start. You're the farmer, yes? And seeds? Get close to the farmer because you have them in your big seed sack. Are you a stone, a rock? Do we have 2? Yeah? Yeah. So, right there is good. Strong. Stones. Yeah. Make muscles. Oh, you are. I didn't notice. It's a joke. Boat and sat in it while all the people stood on the shore. Then Jesus told them many things in a parable, saying, a farmer went out to sow his seeds. So get close to the farmer, Mr. Seeds. Nice and close, very good, nice. As he was scattering the seeds, some fell on the path. The path is right here. Get small, seed. You're a small seed, good. And the birds came and ate it up. Go and eat up the seed. Yeah, go eat up the seed. Yeah, yeah. Very nice. Yeah, eat the seed is very good. So then you can fly away, fly away, you're in the tummy of the birds. Some fell on rocks. Throw them over there in the rocks there. And it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly. Good. Because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, yeah, you can go over there, son. When the sun came up, shine on the seed. Shine, son, shine. The plants were scorched and withered. They died, for they had no roots. Very good. Other seed fell among thorns. Yeah. which grew up, grow, which grew up and choked the plants. You can choke the plant, it's okay. Still other seed fell on good soil. We will be the good soil. So when you tap someone's shoulder, they will grow. Okay, so where it produced, throw it into the soil. So tap someone's shoulder and let them grow. So, and they grow more. Big crop. Lots of seeds are growing. Grow tall. Very good. Which grew and produced 660 or 30 times what was sown. He who has ears, let him hear. Good job. Very good. Thank you.